Hey everybody, welcome to Predictive Modeling. I'm Tony T here from Tony'sPicks.com. I'd like to welcome a new audience to us. Our Twitch users are now part of our live stream here on Predictive Modeling. And of course, we are brought to you by the Rhythm software. Make smarter bets with Rhythm software on the app, available at the iOS, Google, also Android, and Apple Store, and claim your 14-day trial. And of course, I've been modeling for years. That's how I'm able to view the entire board. But with Rhythm, it really helps me out because it takes away all the grunt work like scraping lines, formulating the edges, finding out my straight up percentages, ATS percentages, moneyline percentages, ROI. They handle all the grunt work. All I have to do is just tweak my models. That's what I'm doing right now with college basketball. I've really been tweaking my models. Be ready pretty soon. Looks like I got my money line with a nice 20% ROI, so we'll be soon. And then I'm going to work my totals and spreads, and I'll be ready to roll here with some college basketball picks here as I'm beginning to use this app, which was what I was introduced to in August, and I really like it. And as I said, it saves me about 30 minutes to 2 hours a day in my handicapping because I don't have to no longer do all the grunt work. I always wonder how can I do so many videos? How do I have edges on so many of these games? Big conferences, small conferences, big spreads, small spreads. Well, it's real simple. I use modeling, and I program my factors into the system. I have a tech background, but you don't need a tech background here with the Rhythm software. They handle all the grunt work. You just go in there and formulate your factors, and you weigh each factor, and you can make multiple models. So you can run models with different factors, run them against each games, and see where you have unanimous decisions. That's a great way to do it as well, because you can run multiple models with Rhythm. All right, let's get the show started. We know there's no NBA. Not ready. We'll have college basketball soon. As I said, I'm still running my models right now, tweaking them. I want to have a spread model. I want a money line and a total model. That's how I do it. And I want them to have really good return on investments. And we have thousands of data points in that, previous games that we can run them on. And I've got a lot of my data points already factored into the software. So we're tweaking it right now. We'll be ready to roll pretty soon. So let's get this one underway here on Predictive Modeling. Our first game of the day, looking at this Ball State and Northern Illinois game. We're seeing Northern Illinois laying 9. Short total here, 44. We're going to come here with Ball State here at plus the 9. Of course, if you guys saw my video, you know I was on this. I believe I was on the side here of the total going under. But we're going to take Ball State plus the 9. Looking here at this Northern Illinois team, they really lack accuracy and efficiency in their passing game right now. We know with Rocky Lombardi, the Michigan State transfer, kind of an up and down type of quarterback. You know, in their loss last week, they had a -3 turnover margin. So we're going to go here with Ball State. One thing with the Cardinals here is they are holding teams just 3.7 yards per carry on the ground. So we'll take the points here, 9.5. We'll give you the win probability here, 56.9%. So we have an 8.6% edge on this one here. So at Ball State here, plus a 9.5. My numbers show Northern Illinois minus 7.5. So I got a couple points here of value. Ball State plus the 9.5. All right, let's continue on here on Predictive Modeling for today's show. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let's see what. Waiting here for some of the folks in the chat to join me here. I see. I want to make sure that we're live here. We are live. Okay, let me see. I've got some folks in the chat here. Let me lower my volume here. Shout out there to Ari Gold. Welcome here to the show. All right, let's continue on here on Predictive Modeling. Let's get to pick number 2 here. As we look at Central Michigan and Western Michigan, we saw Western here laying 3, the total 58. We're going money line here with Central Michigan plus the 128. My modeling, remember my money line model is turning about 20% return on investment, so it's been pretty good. So I'm only looking at the money line dogs here for the show. Don't look at many favorites at all when I bet money lines. Central Michigan 5-14, 1 win away from bowl eligibility, coming off a nice win there. So Central Michigan's coming off a victory there against Northern Illinois with a really strong running effort, 331 yards on 47 carries. Remember, in November in the MAC, I'm looking for these teams that can run the football because you're going to get these bad weather games, especially these night games during the middle of the week, right? These teams are used to playing during the afternoons in the MAC, but now we get to MAC and it's all prime time, cold, not ideal temperatures, usually before throwing the football. I like the running effort here by Central last week in their win, and that's what you look for here in the action. These teams that can run, these teams that can stop the run. And one thing to note here too, Western Michigan, very poor efficiency in their passing game, also a lack of accuracy, but the quarterback Bauer here for Central can run the football, so that's a big plus here, especially in these November cold nights. We're going to take the money line here with Central Michigan plus the 128. Win probability 48.1%, so we got a 9.8% edge. My numbers show in this one here, the plus is the way to roll here in this game. All right, let's continue on here on predictive modeling here for today's Tuesday's action. We're going to bring in our next game for you today, and we're going to have a pick for you here on this Ohio-Buffalo game here. On the model shows here Buffalo, a really good money line opportunity, plus 248, plus 262. You guys do your line shopping, get the best numbers. As you know in the video, we took the points here with Buffalo. You know it's a very tough place to play there up there in Buffalo, especially here as we get into some of the November primetime evenings there. I also want to make a note here on predictive modeling is I don't duplicate picks based on my overnight picks, right? So I give out picks, whether they're spreads or totals usually. So on this show, I'm always looking for the money lines first because I have a pretty good ROI on my money line models. And I'm always going to do the money line. But in situations where there isn't the 5 to 25% edge on the money line, then we'll look for either the side or total and go either give this total if I gave the side on the video or give a side if I give the total in the video. So, but here we've got a money line here with Buffalo at plus 258, a 23% edge here. Win probability is 35.4%. So I've got about a 23.1% edge. My numbers show Ohio 26.3, Buffalo 22. This is on my money line model, and that's the one that's been doing well in money line. So that one is showing me a 4-point margin, which gives me a bit of an edge for Buffalo to win here by the money line at that big number. You can do your line time. We see plus 262 at the sharpest book in the world. So I see this to be a really good opportunity here on this Buffalo money line. Again, let me give you the win. I gave you the win probabilities here. Let's give you a little bit more about this game. Issue here with Ohio and their offensive production. We see them over their past 3 games averaging just 16 points a game. The Bulls at home put up almost 29 points a game. Ohio is 96th in total offense, running for 3.7 yards a carry. Again, poor passing efficiency. The Bulls do limit their big plays in the passing game. Remember, the MAC conference, I almost believe there's 3 different seasons in the MAC. You have your non-conference, and you have your conference day games, and then you have your conference November games. And what I mean by that is a lot of these MAC teams in October, September play in the afternoon. You don't see too many primetime MAC games, but when we get into November, boom, they start playing these cold November nights. So it's a little different, okay? It's a little I'm not looking for the passing team so much, looking for some run-stopping teams that can run. Obviously, I want teams that have got some experience because they're experienced in the flip of the switch, right? Playing in these night games, poorly attended most of the time. You can see those stands. There isn't a lot. Sometimes you got that blustering wind going. The cheerleaders don't like it. You can tell on the sidelines, those poor girls, having to withstand the brutal temperatures. But anyway, we're going to be looking here at that money line here with the Buffalo here, showing some to me showing value in this number. So Buffalo here plus 248, and that's kind of how we do it here on predictive modeling. Let you know about a little bit more about the system here as we use my different models here. And again, and it's one thing I like about the Rhythm app is it finds these opportunities for me. I no longer have to scrub through tons of data to find these edges. It finds it for me already. Because really, when you're working with the software, you're really looking for a 5 to 25% edge that you have. Now, if you're over market, like sometimes I'll have edges that are 40, 45% that I'm over market. I would not make a bet there. I would just kind of stand back and look at and evaluate the game a little bit more. Maybe there's an injury that is not factored well enough in your model, but it's tested well to hit a good percentage when you hit the edges rate at 5 to 25%. That as well as you went in and did your work into the model and you make sure that you have a winning model in your system. Because remember, when you create your custom models, what you're doing is you're programming your 5 different factors into the model, and you're assigning each weight to them. Some people are different. For me, in football, I like yards per drive allowed and gained, passing yards per drive allowed and gained. I look at also the other values as well. There's 5 factors I look at, but those 2 are important because I'm looking for the consistent teams. I'm not looking for teams that that sprout out a big gain. I'm looking for teams that consistently have successful drives, and that's something that's important to me when I create my models and create my factors. But then again, I have multiple models and I factor them in, and again, I match them up against each other. And I'm really looking for unanimous. Sometimes I'm looking for unanimous decisions. But this model I've tweaked here for over the course of 3 seasons of data is hitting at 20% ROI. So that's the one I use on the money lines. And like I said, I have separate models for the spreads. I have separate models for the totals because there's different factors that you have to put into this. So don't use one model and use it for everything. And as a matter of fact, the software separates it so you can see how just certain model is doing for spreads, totals, and money line. Now, if you've got a good spread, well, I've got one that's 59% on the spreads over the past 3 years. That one, I only look at the spreads. I don't look at the money lines. I don't want the money money lines or the totals. But again, that's what I'm looking for when I formulate the models, and that's what you do, because we're looking at 3 years worth of data in the back, which I'm happy. I don't want to go too far back, right? There's been a lot of changes to this sport that I don't want older data, more older than 3 years old. So data is 3 years old in the system that I'm modeling with, and you guys can be sure to check it out. Matter of fact, important just to give you a little hint on just give you a little tips on creating your custom models there. You really want to do this. I mean, even if you're a game watcher, more importantly, when you're a game watcher, I hear a lot of the game watchers out there, and the game watchers, all they do is watch the games, and some of them shy away from games because, well, they make up excuses. Well, the line's too big. Oh, no one cares about the small conferences. That's a lot of BS. The fact is, when you model, you can actually handicap the entire board. You see the entire playing field, and basically you can be confident because your factors are applied to each of the handicap. Now, let's just say you're trying to handicap each game individually. Can your mind accurately handicap every single game without the computer helping you? I don't think it can, right? Some days you're on, some days you're off. Oh, I forgot about this factor. I forgot about that factor. I looked at this. I put too much attention on this factor, not enough here. Well, you don't have to worry about that when you program your factors into the system because it's going to consistently handicap every single game for you the way you want to. So that's very important when you're sports modeling because, again, I'm looking for consistent results, and I know what I look for when I handicap. When I can go in that software and pretty much create my factors in the handicapping system, I know for a fact that game is being handicapped the way I want it. Whether it's the most popular game on TV or the game that you need to stream you can't find on TV, whatever it's handicapped, my system is applied to every single game. And that's what I like about this rhythm map because it's a custom sports manual. Yes, they have their own models that they set up, but don't do that. Get the premium custom system from them, and you get the 14-day free trial because then you are in full control. It's your numbers, it's your model, right? Not going to knock these other stat sites, those tool sites out there that predict to come up with predictions, but quite honestly, you have no idea where they got there, right? How do you know what factors are they using? They're not going to tell you. They shouldn't tell you, right? Because they're trying to profit from that, right? But when you're able to custom, this is where it's going, guys. Giving you all the control. And that's what you want to do. You want to become a better capper by modeling. And there's no easier time than doing it right now. I mean, I can't explain that more. We're going to get some more graphics. People are asking for graphics on this. I will add more graphics. Remember, we are transitioning seasons to college basketball, so I'm trying to formulate my college basketball and change from my old modeling system into this modeling system because I'm saving time, but I'm trying to make the transition right now, which is taking some time. The data, having to scrape my own data, having to run my own spreadsheets. It's a lot of work doing that, but now I'm transitioning over to this app where I don't have to do so much of the grunt work. Like I tell you, it's saving me between 30 minutes and 2 hours a day. because rhythm handles all the grunt work. What it does is it basically uses my factors to handicap every game, finds the edges, and again, just bet those ones that are 5 to 25% edge. Be careful with the ones below 5, the ones over 25. If you're over market too much, it's not going to hit at a high rate. I'm telling you right, oh, I got a 40% edge. Don't go there, guys. Don't go there, okay? Examine it a little bit further, and if you feel confident, maybe scale back on the unit size. So that's kind of the advice that I give you guys. So anybody asks me about handicapping advice, I'm going to say create your own custom models and see how they perform against three-year-old data that we have here with the Rhythm app, and you'll be able to work from there. Now, will there be times you need to tweak it? Yeah, maybe you need to tweak it at some point, but that gives you have the time to do it because you're no longer having to handicap the old school way, which is lengthy sports, lengthy if you're doing your own modeling, having to scrape data, grade, and run the streets, and import the data yourself. That is a very time-consuming process. So it takes it's a lot simpler now using the Rhythm app. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do a recap from today's show. We hit Ball State plus the 9. We liked Central Michigan money line plus 128. And we're coming in with Buffalo at plus the 248. All right, that's going to do it here for predictive modeling. Remember, sign up right now and on Apple, on Android, and Google Play right now and claim that 14-day free trial. You could also use it on a desktop as well. I don't want to forget those 10 to 15% users out there on a desktop. You can still use it on the desktop, so don't forget about that. And of course, download it and claim that 14-day trial and start modeling. And this way, you're able to handicap the entire board exactly the way you want to do it. So don't fall for the guys that are out there telling you that no one cares about this game. Spread's too big. That's a bunch of BS, guys. You should be able to handicap every game your way. The Rhythm model helps you. All right, that's going to do it for our show, guys. I'll be here with the drive-through in a little bit, but be sure to check out Tony'sPicks.com. Or we have cappers here giving you for those of you that don't have time to handicap on your own, you're not going to be able to do that, but you can get our picks here from our top performers here on our site. We can see Chauncey, Joseph, great years as well. 7 days, Hollywood Sam's been on fire. I'm performing well over the last 7 days. I'm using the model. You know that here, no doubt about that. Right now I've got a best bet on the board. Chauncey's in action as well. So guys, go ahead and sign up to one of the cappers. We also have our pick ticker here where we sell the plays individually with team versus team information. All right, don't forget our promo code is TonyT at checkout, and you'll be able to save that 20% off. All right, that's going to do it for the show today, guys. Back with the drive-thru in a little bit. Have yourself a great afternoon, and don't forget to take advantage of that 14-day free trial. And I'm Tony T, and we'll talk to you guys later.